One of the most useful tools leaders have is storytelling. After all, 80% of a leader's time is spent communicating. Let's be clear, stories sell. Whether we're in front of a prospect or in front of our team, never underestimate the power of a single story. Here are a few tips to become a better storyteller. Start close to the action. Many times a story is dramatically improved by removing some of the prelude. We don't need you to say, "Let me tell you a story." Just start. Number 2, find one or two crisp, evocative details. The grass was wet. A dog barked in the distance. We smelled the bacon and the campfire. A single detail can place your audience directly in the middle of that story. At the same time, we need to remove anything that isn't absolutely necessary. Our audience doesn't need to know the color of our car, unless somehow or another that color makes a difference. If my story contains a mention of soldiers sitting at every single table in the cafe, that audience might rightly think that it's important to that story. And when it isn't, they might wonder why I didn't include it. Next, keep the audience engaged by taking pauses. If you say, I listened to the ventilator. Breathe, it said, pause, and breathe. Those pauses make that much more interesting. Number 5, help the audience follow the story with gestures. If you want to say there are 3 people over here and there are 3 people over here, they cannot stand each other. But we tried this intervention, and guess what? They came together for the first time. Connect the story back to the point. We aren't telling our stories just to entertain them. We are telling our stories to make a point. And so we have to be very clear on that. Here's why I am telling you this. And then draw a direct line from the story to the lesson. Number 7, keep our stories short. Quite often, the most powerful stories are just a handful of words. A famous example of this is how Hemingway was challenged to write a 6-word story. For sale, he wrote. Baby shoes, never worn. Number 8, great storytellers are great story collectors. Many of my friends who are professional speakers carry a notebook to jot down stories they hear in everyday life. They know, as we do, one great story can change the world.